fortune teller, but I've watched my son and a lot of his friends make them, and they have a blast. The way a fortune teller works is you pick random numbers, letters, colors, and a person moves the paper around, and then after you've made a series of choices, they tell you something about yourself. So in our case, we're going to ask people to pick a number, say 1 to 3, and I'm going to ask them to pick a color, red, yellow, or blue. It's simple, and you can make it more complicated if you'd like. And then at the end, it's going to say something about them, like you are tall and love math, or it could be anything. In our case, we came up with a outcome tree. And if you look here, if they pick 1 in red, they're funny and they like TV. They picked 1 in yellow, they were funny and they like movies. If they picked 1 in blue, they're funny and they like jokes. In fact, if you look, if they picked 1, they were automatically funny. And the red, yellow, and blue told them what else they were interested in. If they picked 2, we said they were athletic and they liked basketball and soccer or swimming. And we tried to be careful with this program. We tried to pick 3 things that are nice things to say to somebody, and we tried to pick items that are not biased toward one type of person or another. So, for example, both boys and girls play basketball and soccer, and they swim. Likewise, boys and girls can like jokes and movies and TV, and math, science, and music. So, based on this, we're going to make a digital fortune teller. I hope you have a blast, and let's get started. So here we are, back at the Scratch page, and we're going to launch a new project, and we're going to call it FortuneTeller. I'll bet this takes longer for you sometimes as well. So here we go. Let's take a look inside. My friend over at Vermont Chess Info might love that blur, but we'll just get rid of that for now. So here we go. We're going to start our program, no big surprise, with a flag click. So let's just bring that over. And this is going to be a little bit like Mad Libs. We're going to be asking some questions. So we'll go into our sensing strand. And the first thing we're going to ask is a number. Pick a number between, pick a number 1, 2, or 3. And we're going to create a variable again. And we're going to call this variable the number. There we go. Number. Perfect. And we're going to set our number to, you probably already guessed it, the answer. Brilliant. Next, we're going to ask, pick a color. Red, yellow, or blue. And you're probably already there. We're going to need a new variable, and we're going to call it color. Click OK. And we're going to set our color to answer. Perfect. Good job. Now, we're going to go through our control structures. We haven't really used these before, and this is going to be really important. So let's take a look at how this works. We're going to start with a series of if and else statements. We're going to need some operators too. So if the number, let's go to our data, our number equals 1, then we know something. If the number doesn't equal 1, the number might be something else. Let's see over here, if the number equals 2. Let's take a look at this. This is pretty tricky. So let's break this down. If the number equals 1, we're going to be in this loop. If the number equals 2, we'll be here. Well, if the number doesn't equal 1 or 2, it'll be over here for 3. And in fact, something we could do if we wanted to, we can Control-click to add a comment. In the top of the loop, let's just put, if the user entered 1, the commands are in the top of the loop. And entering comments can really help you figure out what you're trying to do when you're writing a program. If the user entered 2, we go to the else for 1. In other words, if the number equals 1, we go up here. If it doesn't equal 1, we come down here, because it's for something other than 1. Down here it says if the number equals 2, then we'll be over here. In the second loop, in the second if else, let's keep this simple. If else, the top is for 2 and the bottom is for 3. See how it says if else? So we've got a comment there to help us keep track of what's going on. And then this is where it's going to get really interesting. We could, if we wanted, let's just keep it simple. If the color equals red, then what we're going to do is we're going to say you are funny and like movies. Okay. Well, maybe they didn't pick red, so we can put a little if right below that. If their color equals yellow, then we're going to say you are funny and like TV. Let's try it out and just see how our program works. Pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. Let's pick 1. Pick a color, red, yellow, or blue. Let's pick red. You're funny and like the movies. Perfect. So far that works. And we can, so far this should make sense, yeah. So let's take a look at this. You know what? We might even make this a little simpler. In fact, why don't we? Let's just get rid of that block. Let's pull this out, pull this out. We'll just use if statements for right now. I think that might make a little more sense. If the number equals 1, and put inside there, if the color equals red, let's see if it works this way, see if it makes a little more sense. Pick a 1, 2, or 3. Let's pick a 1. Red. It works. That's pretty simple. Great. So inside that, we can add another if loop. And if we, actually, I'll teach you a trick. This is kind of a good trick to know. I'm going to pull this block out, because we're going to be repeating a lot of that block. We're going to click on the Duplicate tab and just click Duplicate. Now we have 2 of those. And I'll just go in and change what we need to change. Red, yellow, blue. We'll say you are funny and you like jokes. So far, so good. Let's try it out. Pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. 1. Red, yellow. Let's do yellow. You are funny and like TV. Perfect. Now I'm going to pull this whole thing out. And I'm going to click on the duplicate again. Here we go. Now the whole thing has been duplicated. Just like that. I know, they stick together kind of like Legos. In fact, it's no accident that they look a little bit like Legos when they stick together. They're supposed to. So here we go. This is what you want it to look like when you're done. If number equals 2, and we'll go in and change the text. You are athletic and like basketball. And we can say over here, you are and like soccer. Swimming. So now let's try it. Let's enter a 2. Let's say blue. You're athletic and like swimming. That's great. So now I'm going to pull this whole piece off to make duplicating it a little bit easier. Click on the clone button. We'll duplicate it and we'll pull it all the way over here. Remember last time they stuck together and it got a little confusing? This time we'll try and make it a little bit clearer. So we'll stick that one in there. This one right there. Move this up so we can see it a little bit better. If number equals 3, we're going to say you are and like math. You are smart and like science. You are smart and like music. Perfect. Let's run it and see what happens. Three. Let's see if we can get music. Blue. Hey, it works perfectly. You are smart and like music. This is dynamite. Now, you might be wondering, what would happen if somebody typed in, I don't know, let's say number 4. Pick a color, red, yellow, or blue. Let's say they picked pink. You notice nothing happens because we didn't tell the computer what to do in that situation. If you look, it only has commands for it to do with the numbers 1, the numbers 2, or if the numbers 3. So the difference between if and if else is the else part of the statement tells the program what to do if it's not what it's looking for. So in this case, there's some strengths to the if then and some strengths to the if then else. So I hope you had fun. I hope you'll make your own version of the fortune teller and you'll come up with something that all your friends will like and will be fun. So let's call this the fortune teller. And if you don't like to see these variables up here, I often don't like to see them. We'll go over here, remember this, hide. We'll hide them right at the beginning. So that way, when the program runs, we won't see the previous values. Color, let's pick number and color. Now when we run it, they go away. Pick a number 1, 2, or 3. 2, radial. Let's see what happens when we do lowercase. You are athletic like that. The case doesn't matter. But if we misspell it, 1, and do read, for example, it won't work. Okay, so now you've seen some of these. We could go and make a little change, but I think for right now, this is a great start. Have fun, good coding. And then let's publish it. Grab our link. There it goes, and send off an email. Let's invite someone to check out our note. To Grandma, Meliora. Check out my fortune teller. Grandma, I made a fortune teller. Please try it out. Put the link right there. All right. Have a great time, guys.